Hey, good morning, options traders. Well, in almost all of my videos, I'm talking about hedging in some form or another because, after all, that's really what options were designed to do. And one of the most powerful hedges you can use is what's called a roll. But there are other types. And another one you should learn is called an overroll. So what's the difference between a regular roll and an overroll? Well, let's start with a simple roll. And for this video, I'm going to talk about the roll up for calls, but everything I'm saying would certainly apply in reverse for the puts with roll downs. But let's say that you buy a $100 call for 10 bucks, and now the stock price makes a nice little move. It rises, it's moved in your favor, and you'd like to get some money off the table. This is what the purpose of a regular roll is. So you would sell your $100 call, and you would simultaneously buy let's say the 105 or whatever that next strike is. And this would be selling the 100-105 vertical spread. So it's very easy to put into your broker's platform. Just sell the 100-105 vertical, and when it's all over and done, you will have closed your 100 and you will now be long the 105. And of course, because we are selling a lower strike call, the more valuable option, this will always produce a credit. Now, as a general rule for your in-the-money options, you will try to capture 80% of that difference in strikes. And I do talk about that in other videos. So I'm going to assume that you know that for right now. So if you're doing a $5 roll, you're selling the 100 and moving to the 105. That's a $5 roll. We would try to get this done for a net credit of 4 or possibly more. But if it's trading for a credit of 4 or more in the market, it's definitely time to roll it. So why would we do this? What's the purpose of selling the $100 call and buying the 105? Well, the main reason is that we now have an effective cost of $6. See, I initially spent 10, but now I've just collected $4 as a credit back to my account. So now mathematically I really have $6 into the position. And so if we did that, this would be our risk graph. When we bought the $100 call, here was our bend at the 100 strike. We could lose a maximum of 10. That's why we're lining up over here at minus 10. And we have the ability for unlimited gains. But when we roll, we are moving from the 100 strike to the 105. So notice that my bend is now at 105, not at 100. So that's a little bit of a trade-off there. So the main reason we do this is that we are trying to shift this portion up. I've collected $4. But the trade-off is that I've also pushed my break-even forward a little bit. But we usually consider that to be a good trade-off. That is just a classic hedge. Reduce some of the gains, not all of them. We still have the ability for unlimited gains, but we've just reduced the amount that we could lose. So this is the standard roll. Now, where does an overroll come in? Well, the reason here is that the stock makes an aggressive, favorable move. Maybe could be in a single day off the opening bell, maybe over a few days. But it's definitely made a very significant move. And what you're going to do is to skip a strike. That's where the over comes in the overroll. So it does depend on the strikes that your options have. If you've got $5 increments, you might go from the 100, not to the 105, but to the 110. But maybe you've got smaller increments. Maybe there's a 50, a 52.5, and a 55. Now you might move from the 50 to the 55. You're always just skipping a strike. Whichever strikes are listed for that expiration, you're just going to skip one. So if you sold the $100 call, you might buy the 110 call, because in my example, the next strike was a 105. So do you see how we've jumped a strike? And when we do that, we are selling the 100-110 vertical spread. So it's exactly the same idea. Just go into your broker's platform, and instead of selling the 100-105 vertical, you will sell the 100-110 vertical. And because you're putting more of a space between these strikes, that means a bigger credit. Remember, lower strike calls are worth more money. So you're selling the more valuable option, and the further you push this purchase strike out, the cheaper it becomes, and therefore you're putting a bigger credit into your pocket. So this is our motivation. We're trying to scoop a big chunk of this money off. So it's really more of a defensive position. The stock has made this almost vertical ascension, just gone straight into orbit. you don't want to just roll for one strike. You'd like to get a lot of that money off the table. So if we originally had the 100 call in blue, moving to the red is the 105, but if we move to the black, that's the 110. So notice when we went from the 100 to the 105, yeah, we did bring some money back, but look what we're doing now. We're shifting that curve much, much higher. We are exposing ourselves to a smaller loss. And yes, it means that we have to accept a bigger increase in our break-even point. But if the stock has made an aggressive move, and we do this at the right time, maybe the stock is still out here, might be at 120. We still might have an in-the-money option, but we're just collecting a bigger credit. So that's part of the art side of it. You don't want to do these overrolls and give yourself a super out-of-the-money option. That's almost doing a synthetic sale. Try to keep them in the money, but if you get those very aggressive moves, try an overroll instead of a general roll, and you'll find yourself in a much more defensive position, but also with the ability to make unlimited gains. So for anyone who'd like to learn more about the art and science of options trading, please check out the Alpha Trader course, Strategy Lab, and a brand new technical analysis class. It's all at optionsatoz.com. Also, please join us on the Facebook trading group, Options A to Z, and you can find a link in the description below.